welcome back to Crafts with Julie, and today I'm going to be showing with you it's going to be a part 1 video. Not sure how many videos this is going to end up being, so we'll just try it out and see how many it makes. Alright, what we're going to be working on in this next little series of videos is going to be a Valentine wreath, and since I'm using a mixture of a wreath form with canvas that I like to work with, this is going to take me a little bit, so I'm kind of getting a head start on it. So it's going to be fun and interesting. I have not made a wreath like this before, so this is going to be kind of a first for me. So what we're using here is just your standard wire wreath form. This one's only 12 inches. I figured for this kind we're going to start kind of small, and then we'll see how it goes. Now for this Valentine's, how it's going to work, and I'll show you how I kind of get this going, is that this little piece right here, one's going to be a front side, one's a back side, but it's going to be where it can kind of go either way. And I'm going to put some kind of little saying on it, like be mine or love you, something like that, you know, like the conversation hearts that you get to snack on. And they're going to be our centerpiece. They're going to kind of hang from the bottom or from the middle of this down and kind of hang out here in the middle. So that's what we're going to try and work on. And it's just a standard heart shape. It is, what I count, 34 wide by 33 high. And then you just go through and you kind of cut your corners until you have your heart shape, okay? Kind of let you have a little look at that. I got my camera turned a different way than I normally do, so I keep going backwards. But that's just your heart shape right there, okay? And this side's just a normal standard red, just a nice bright red. In the other side, I did it in a simple, soft pink for it, okay? And I'm just going to kind of sit here and talk with you for just a few minutes while I kind of finish up this part a little bit. I will probably use, I think I'm going to use a black, either a thread or the black yarn. Since this is kind of bigger, I might use the yarn. Not quite sure. But that's probably the route that I'm going to go, just because it'll stand out a little bit better than if I used thread, the black thread on here for my lettering. And then I think on the lighter pink one, I am going to do, I have a dark pink somewhere. I don't have it with me at the moment. It's probably back in the bedroom. But I have a darker pink that I will probably use for the lettering on this one. That'll stand out pretty good. And on this one, I just did the normal stitching, just one square at a time. So yeah, it does take just a little bit more time, but I thought, especially since I'm going to be doing lettering, that it would help it look fuller and stand out a little bit better, and it would be easier to do the lettering than if I just did a diamond shape or short little 4 square type lines. I felt that this would be a whole lot better doing just these little single stitches like this. And then what I will probably do, just because the front and the back are going to be separate colors, I will use a white yarn to put the sides together, and I'll show you guys that. So like I was saying, this is probably going to be several videos, 2, maybe 3 parts. So hopefully this will turn out like I'm picturing it in my head, and hopefully it turns out really good. But we will just wait and find out. And then once I get this part finished, we are also going to do little hearts around the sides. Oh, no, no, wrong one. Almost forgot to go down one row. If you have a good thick yarn, you only have to do 1 stitch per square. I've had some in the past that were kind of thin, or because I cut too long of a string of the yarn, too long of a cut, that I had to double up each stitch. And woo! This needs to be untwisted. That's why it's knotting up like that. But that's easy. Just hold it up, let it hang free so that the yarn can untwist. And then we'll just continue on. And that's just something that's going to happen. I'm sure I said it in past videos that I've done, or the past video that I did some canvas work on. And see, in little things like this, you can always get just get 1 or 2 single pieces, cut you off a few sections of yarn, and put them in a little baggie, little Ziploc, and take with you to work, and do it like on your lunch break or something like that. If you where your work is, your office or what have you, has a special little break room for employees, because sometimes it makes for some really fun conversations with other girls that you work with. I have some fun conversations with other people that I work with, and they see me doing this stuff because they're always curious about what I'm making and what I'm doing, and they're genuinely excited about it, and they're just gawking at what I'm working on, and they are serious about wanting to know what I'm doing. They think it's interesting, and I get so many questions asked about it, like how I do it, and how long have I been doing this, and what have you. And so, like I said, I get some fun conversations with some of the people that I work with, and I love it. Because there are some people that they're not used to someone sitting here and doing canvas work or cross stitch or what have you. And so it's different to them. It's interesting. And it just brings out that basic curiosity. So we are almost done. And then I'm going to put this off to the side because I'm going to show you the smaller hearts. Like I said, this one was, 34 on the widest part by 33. And I don't count by the bars because that sometimes tends to confuse me because they do start to kind of melt together. I go by the squares, by the holes. That way, whatever I'm using, whether it is my needle or scissors or my cutters that I have, they can go into each hole as I'm counting, and it helps me keep track of where I'm at because they will start to blur as you're trying to count along. So that does help. All right, so our red heart is all done. And you don't have to be too particular when running your needle along the back side, just so that it holds your yarn down. And then cut your little tail off. And there we go. And there you have your 2 sides to the middle part there. And so we're going to put that onto the side. And since our wreath form has 6 sections on it, so we're going to do 6 smaller hearts, and these ones are 23 23 by 22 holes, and it's excuse me, it's the same concept as the bigger hearts, just on a smaller scale. And I did use a Sharpie, which whenever you get through using your Sharpie, you can go back through and use like a cotton ball with some alcohol, or just an alcohol swab, and clean all that off and get that cleared out so you don't get any of that on your yarn. That's just fine. And I like to utilize as much of the sheet of canvas as I can when I'm doing this. So I did go through, and this was a much fuller sheet, you know, the 2 rows here, you know, that I had this one cut off of another one, another sheet that had just a right amount of size on there, and I still had it as a full square, and so I did cut out the extra on it just so I could get one more piece off the side up here, because it wasn't wide enough here to do 3 hearts wide like this. I had to turn it sideways. That way I wasn't having all that wasted canvas up there, and that worked out great. So to do this part, I have had, and I tried looking for them and I couldn't find them, but it was the plastic tabs, not plastic, brass tabs that you can use, like if you have any papers that you have punched holes in and you need to put several papers together and you don't want to use a stapler, you put these metal brads in and the tabs fold over on the back side, like when you're trying to do reports or whatever. That is what I did have, a whole little container of them, and I can't find the bag that had them in. But those little tabs or brads, whatever you want to call them, they work great for these, because you can put them in, you'd have to put them in as at an angle, and they would just, you know, you'd fold your tabs over on the back side, and whenever you're doing a repeat pattern like this, it keeps your template in place while you went around and you just have to cut around the rest of it. And like I said, it worked phenomenal, and I wish that I could find them so I could show you guys what I'm talking about, but we're just going to make do with what we got. So you're going to do your best to hold it still, and then just follow your pattern. Be careful when going down in the middle like this, and whether it's on a heart or anything else that you kind of dip down and then go right back up again. Come on, get out of the way there. You want to make sure you're cutting in the right place. And it also helps to have a little trash can nearby, so you don't have those little tabs, little plastic tabs, just floating around your work area or going into the floor, because sometimes those are not too comfortable to step on if you're barefoot. Come on, trying to get this little top part of this cut off. That's what comes on the canvas, because that's what they hang by in the stores. All right, and that's our middle piece. Now for the outsides. Ooh. Hang on to it as tight as you can, and make sure you take this out before you try to turn it and move it, unlike what I just did, kind of getting myself in a bit of a hurry. There's that corner. And it's so easy whenever you are trying to line it up on your sheet of canvas, because then once you get one square out for the right size that you need, you can just go boom, boom, boom right next to each other, and all you end up with is one side's going to have these plastic tabs still kind of sticking out. But that is a very easy fix because most of them you're going to cut off in one big chunk, and then you're only left with just a few right there. You have to go back over and cut those back off. No big deal. So you just keep following that pattern all the way down. It was, for the top parts right here, it ended up being 5 across. Then I went down a few points, 1, 2, 3 points there, and then down 5 more. Then I went over 1, down 2, over 1, down 2, and then it was 1 all the way down to the tip. And then it's just reverse on the opposite side, obviously. Once you get one side done, it's easy to get the other side to just follow right along. All the way down to the bottom. And then when you get ready to cut these tabs off here, you probably won't be able to see it, but I'm just going to lean over my trash can real quick so I can cut those tabs off straight into the trash. And then I don't have to worry about the cleanup afterwards because it's already cleaned up. And then we just come up on the next side, zigzagging back and forth. Yeah, it's a little bit tedious, and it does take a few minutes to do it and get it done, but just go slow and take your time, because if you do rush it, you're going to miscount, or something's going to move and slip out of the way when you don't want it to, and then you'll end up cutting the wrong part of the canvas, and then you'll have to get a whole new piece cut out and start all over. All right, and there you go. Then you just go through the rest of your pieces and then just repeat that process until you have all 6 of your hearts cut out, and then you can begin stitching them with whatever colors you want to use, and that will probably be on the next video that I come out with of these. At some point we'll come out with another one, and I'll show you some of my progress, and I'll probably save one of these undone, that way you can see me kind of finishing it up and going through and doing the lettering on some of these pieces. But that's what you do to get that part of it cut out and get it ready. Alright guys, I hope you guys found that just a little bit informative, just to kind of give you a little sneak peek of the project that I'm working on. And I'm going to take you step by step, and like I said, this is going to be a definite part 1, and it's going to be a part 2 definitely, maybe a part 3, probably a part 3, just so that I don't have this long drawn out video for you guys like I have on some of the others. So that's what we've kind of got in store for the future. I hope you guys enjoyed that. If you have any questions or comments or any kind of suggestion of anything you want to see me try and do in the future, just let me know down below the video. And as always, you guys have an awesome day.